Hello, my people. Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to share with you that we're number one bestsellers on Amazon. We've done it, and this couldn't have been made possible without your help, with your support. If you haven't heard, the book Hopeless Romantic is finally out. It's on Amazon. If you haven't gotten your copy, make sure to get your copy now. It's made available. I'm so excited. I hope you guys are too. I hope you guys are learning so much about Ethiopia. If you guys are reading, make sure to share about what you're reading. Also, I got to give a shout out to my boy Masai in Houston, who's like sharing all my posts. So I really appreciate that. And keep sharing, everyone. Let people know about Ethiopia. Use the hashtag hopeless romantic so we could get this thing going. I will say, if like you're interested about TPLF and what they've done to Ethiopia, then this book is not for you, because I'm not writing about this. But if you are interested about the Abiy administration and what's really going on there, then this book is not for you either, because I'm not talking about that. But if you want the proper context to see what's going on in the current political affairs, the current events, then this book is for you. I give you the historical aspects and I give you some reasoning to how we got to the place that we're at. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I wanted to address in this video is some comments and questions that I've been getting. Why are you talking about Ethiopia now? Why are you posting about the Ethiopian flag? Why now? Why suddenly everything is changing? Aren't you a church member? You should be neutral on these events, and so on and so forth. So, just one of the things that I would say first is I think there's a confusion about the word neutrality. Neutrality seems to be used almost synonymously with the idea of picking a side and just talking about one narrative or one camp. The reality is there are victims on both sides of the camp, and true humanitarian efforts and true call for justice means calling for victims, not based on ethnicity, but for the sake of calling for the justice of victims. But the word neutrality seems to be used here to just support one side of the narrative and completely ignoring the rest. And sometimes, even at times, justifying the victimhood of the others. The reality is we don't need to compare like victimhood and say my story of victimhood is a lot damning than yours, like that idea is in itself is wrong, and we shouldn't allow it. Wrong is wrong, and we should be able to speak up anytime any victim we see any victimization. We should speak up against it and call for justice regardless of who the person is. So that is the call, that is the idea. The second thing is people tend to forget that the Ethiopian politics affects Ethiopia directly, or the Ethiopian church directly. During the previous administration, we saw the church being split into two, or even more camps, if you will. And recently, we are witnessing the church being affected. There's a Tigrayan church, there's a quote unquote Ethiopian church, there's a Oromo church, and it is affecting the church. So, as a deacon, I'm not going to just sit on the sideline and witness the church be divided. I'm gonna speak up and say, look, this is wrong. This is not what it is, and we have to talk. I mean, the things that are being said, the talking points are sickening. Taking saints like Abu Naragawi and ascribing it to a particular region, and then Takala Haimano being the Shoah camp, and churches changing their name based on this. This is wrong. And as a deacon, I'm going to talk about this and say, this is not the way of the church. It's just not. So it is timely to talk about it. And as a deacon, it affects me directly, more so than some people who are messaging me here who may not understand the true essence of how the church operates. It affects the service, it affects the congregation. In terms of why am I speaking about it now, one of the things that I wanted to say is for the past year, we've seen posts on social media what I can only describe to be hate speech when it comes to Ethiopia. Things like F Ethiopia, not the Ethiopian government, but Ethiopia. In some cases, saying things like F Ethiopians, Ethiopia should be destroyed, the idea of Ethiopia should be destroyed. One comment that really stood out to me was when TPLF was entering the region of Amhara, post saying, you're lucky all we did was loot the area. We should have done more, just like your people did. Like this type of language is hate speech. And I'm going to try to say this as clearly as possible for people so they understand. I support whatever ethnicity, ethnic group, however you want to identify yourself. I support your cause. If you identify as Amhara, Tigray, Oromo, Walaita, Gurage, Afar, like that is up to you, and you have the right to do that. And I love you still. That's not going to go away. But if you have a problem the minute I identify as an Ethiopian, I can't do anything about that. This is who I am. More importantly, I'm not going to hide my identity to appease you. This is who I am as an Ethiopian. So if you have a problem with accepting me, I'm not saying here I'm supporting everything that the Abiy administration is doing, and that's a political argument. You could go and talk about the political argument there. I'm simply stating the fact that I am Ethiopian, and anyone or anything that's saying Ethiopia must go away is resisting my identity and my status of existence. This is why people are speaking up now. It's because the idea of saying the Ethiopia and the Ethiopian identities is somehow something to resist. That's problematic. Also, when it comes to the flag, the Ethiopian flag, there is some confusions here with green, yellow, red. People immediately started saying this is the Derg flag. One comment said, "You support raping of babies." I mean, that's ridiculous. And not only is it ridiculous, it's misleading, it's disingenuous, and it's dishonest. And it's rhetoric like this that gets us distracted from the true story that we wanted to talk about. So if you guys look here, I have a little book, The Songs of Africa, the Ethiopian Canticles. We can see as early as, I think this is from 18th century or so, the Greek green, yellow, red icons being used in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. But I think a lot of people confuse it with the green, yellow, red with Derg, because there is some truth in there, because it was Ding Haile Selassie, the green, yellow, red. In the middle had the lion figure. You guys know what I'm talking about. But then under the Derg, the lion figure was taken away. It was just the plain green, yellow, red. So some people assume that the flag is somehow associated with the Derg regime. But again, that's just not understanding it. If you guys see the icon here, it's from the Digwa. I don't know if you guys could see it. From the 1735, there's the flag in the middle, green, yellow, red, with nothing in the middle. So again, like if you want the historical context, this is the historical context behind the flag. It is the flag also that represents me. No, I do not support the killing of innocent Tigrayans. No, I do not support the raping of babies. And to spin it around like that, again, is disingenuous, is pushing your own agenda, and that's not the truth. If we want to have an honest discussion, let's have an honest discussion. But I'm not going to hide my identity to appease another group of people. I'm just not going to do it. This is who I am. This is my reality. I am an Ethiopian, and this is the flag that represents me. You have all the right to identify as whatever ethnic group that you want, and hold up the flag that represents you the best. I would still love you, even though you don't love me. I will respect your views, even though you don't respect mine. And that's fine. But again, if you want an honest discussion, we're more than welcome to do that. I invite everybody to read my book, Hopeless Romantic, The Untold History of Ethiopia. Not with this idea of, okay, let's support one group versus the other, but the idea of let's understand the context of Ethiopia and see how we were able to fight one another. Honestly, the fact that we have to keep marching down Washington, D.C. to Joe Biden is sad. We should be able to have our own say as Africans, as Black people. We should be able to have our own say, our own take on our own history, not depend on what the West is telling us to do. Unless we understand this, I promise you, we will all lose. And that's what I had to say. Again, thank you everybody who's supporting me. Thanks again. Make sure to share. Use the hashtag Hopeless Romantic. Let's tell our history. Let's learn about our history. Let's not just talk with emotions. Let's understand the historical component, and then let's hopefully learn something. May God bring peace to the region of Ethiopia for all members, for all ethnic groups, for all ethnic groups. Have a great day.